Georgia diner. Vet. Ignored. Then ejected. No ID. No paperwork. No one speaks up. Until he pulls out a phone and dials a single number. I need you here. Now. 5 minutes later, a federal agent walks in, points straight at the two officers. This man is under federal protection. Stand down. The entire room turns silent. And the story you're about to hear is one of the veteran stories that made us create this channel. Justice for Veterans. His name is Elijah Boone, 72 years old, homeless, alone. Each morning he quietly visits Henry's diner just to ask for a glass of water and some leftover bread. Maya, the young waitress, sometimes sneaks in a cold egg with his plate. Elijah always says, "Thank you," with his eyes. His hands tremble slightly as he holds the spoon. A torn, faded backpack rests by his feet, the military patch on it barely visible anymore. No one asks who he used to be. No one notices the long scar running down his left wrist. But whenever the door slams open, Elijah flinches. A subtle twitch, the kind you only learn in war. Elijah doesn't talk to anyone. He always sits alone, by the dusty window, where the morning sun cuts across the roof's edge. He eats slowly, as if every bite requires effort. Sometimes, he just sits there, not eating, just watching traffic pass. No one knows what he's thinking. No one asks. Inside his battered backpack, next to a worn notebook, is a frayed army scarf. Always folded, always laid out with quiet ritual. Each morning, he takes it out, places it on the table, then puts it back. Maya once asked, "Why do you keep this scarf?" Elijah didn't answer. He just smiled, faintly, and said, "It's the last thing that keeps me human." But that morning, something changed. 8:12 a.m. Elijah lifts his spoon to eat the cold egg Maya quietly left for him. The diner door slams open. Two police officers step inside, black shoes polished, utility belts full. The one in front is Denton, aggressive gait, scanning eyes like hunting prey. The other, McCall, younger, lightly gripping a dangling pair of handcuffs. Denton scans the room, locking eyes on Elijah. "Hey, old man, let me see some ID." Elijah looks up, gently sets his spoon down. "I'm just having breakfast." Denton smirks. "I didn't ask what you're eating. I asked if you have ID." Maya steps in. "He hasn't done anything. He's a regular here. Comes every day." Denton turns to Maya, voice sharp. "So you're covering for an illegal homeless man now?" Maya steps back, caught off guard by the tone. McCall cracks his knuckles, moving closer. Elijah doesn't get up, doesn't argue. He simply pulls his backpack closer and reaches inside. McCall immediately grabs for his gun. "Get your hand out of the bag." I said, "Get your hand out." The diner falls silent. Elijah stays calm. He doesn't pull out a weapon. He pulls out a phone, old, cracked screen. He looks at it, as if debating whether to make the call. Denton steps in, suspicious glare. "I won't repeat myself, old man." Maya steps between them, shielding Elijah. "They're wrong. You have every right to be here." Denton shoves Maya aside. "Step away. Do not interfere with law enforcement." She stumbles. The tray in her hand crashes to the floor. Elijah doesn't move. He stares Denton straight in the eyes and hits call. 1 ring, 2. Then a deep, steady voice answers. "Are you all right, sir?" Elijah replies, "I need you here, immediately." And he ends the call. Elijah places the phone on the chipped wooden table. No one in the diner understands what just happened. Denton squints, mocking. "Who'd you call? Your homeless friends?" Elijah doesn't answer. He just sits there, eyes fixed on the window, as if waiting. Maya clenches her fists, stepping behind the counter. The room grows thick with tension. McCall's hand remains on his belt, ready to cuff. A customer in the corner starts filming. The wall clock ticks. Tick, tock, tick. Then screeching tires outside. A black SUV parks sharply. Door flings open. A man in a black suit with a DOJ badge steps in. His voice cuts through the silence. "Officer Denton, Officer McCall, hands down. Step away. Everyone freezes. Maya whispers, "What the hell is going on?" The man strides to the center of the diner. Badge on his chest reads, Thorne, U.S. Department of Justice. He doesn't ask questions, just issues the order. Both officers, step aside. This man is under federal protection. Denton glares. You're saying, who exactly? Thorne steps closer, voice low, but loud enough for the room to hear. Elijah Boone, former Task Force Raven. Pentagon, cleared classified security level. McCall steps back, hand off his cuffs. Denton swallows hard, trying to keep composure. Maya is stunned. The recording customer gasps. Elijah remains seated, silent. He nods once toward Thorne, like two men who've met before. Thorne turns to him, voice softens. I'm sorry, sir. They didn't know who you were. Elijah simply replies, no one ever does. Then he leans down and resumes his breakfast. And in the entire diner, not a single fork moves again. 1 hour later, a 46-second clip appears on TikTok. The angle is tilted, the quality low, but the sound crystal clear and chilling. Hands down, this man is under federal protection. The cameraman's hand is visibly shaking. Yet they capture the exact moment Agent Thorne bows slightly toward Elijah Boone. Within 4 hours, the video hits 1 million views. Hashtag Elijah Boone spreads across platforms. The first caption reads, I just witnessed the craziest thing ever. A homeless man flipped the whole script on 2 cops with a single phone call. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, Reddit, all erupt with one question. Who is this man? A Reddit user zooms in on the military patch on Elijah's backpack. Army, Raven, TFR. The veteran community notices, and the search to uncover Elijah Boone's identity officially begins. Online, the hunt for his identity explodes. But this time, it's not driven by outrage. It's driven by remorse. A veteran from Texas reposts an old, blurry photo. 6 young soldiers standing outside Fallujah Base, 2004. One tall black man at the center, shoulders slightly hunched. His eyes aren't looking at the lens. They're watching a teammate just outside the frame, name on his chest. Boone, Captain. The veteran writes, he was the only one who came back when we thought we were dead. Boone pulled 3 of us out of that hell. One didn't make it, but wrote Boone a letter before the end. Elijah never shared that letter, but the veteran remembers, if I fall, live my share. Don't let them forget we were ever here. The photo spreads, and for the first time, the name Elijah Boone is no longer a mystery. Classified files resurface. In 2004, during Operation Raven Wing in Fallujah, a special task force, Raven, was deployed to extract civilians and a high-ranking officer. The ambush was brutal. Half the unit didn't make it. The commander was critically wounded, and while everyone retreated, Boone turned back covering fire and carrying that general through open flames. That act was never recognized. The unit was wiped from official record classified. Elijah was pulled from the field, lost hearing in one ear, and disappeared from history. No medals, no mentions. That general, the man Boone called that day, is now the National Security Advisor. And when he picked up the phone, he only asked one thing. Boone, are you okay? A man who once saved this country, erased like he never existed. As the truth about Elijah Boone unfolds, America pauses, then erupts. Millions flood the original video with comments. We abandoned him. I cried when I found out who he is. I ignored people like him. Now I'm ashamed. Bouquets appear outside Henry's diner. A photo of young Elijah is printed large, placed at the front window. Below it reads, "We see you now. We're sorry." Mayatha waitress is invited on national TV. Through tears, she says, "He never asked for anything. Just sat there, like someone who didn't need to be noticed. But I knew he wasn't ordinary." Veteran groups, journalists, civil rights advocates speak out. Officers, Denton and McCall, are suspended indefinitely. and Elijah Bunions, an invisible old man, becomes a symbol of overdue gratitude. 3 weeks later, Washington, D.C., a national memorial for veterans. Among the names read aloud, Captain Elijah Boone, Task Force Raven. The crowd rises. The President of the United States steps forward and shakes the hand of a man the country once ignored. Maya watches from the front row, tears streaming, as Elijah stands humbly simple suit, still wearing the old scarf around his neck. No medals pinned to his chest. He bows to receive a small plaque. 2 lines engraved, "We forgot you. Now, we choose to remember." From across the aisle, Agent Thorne steps forward. He grips Elijah's hand and says, "I owe you my life. That day, in Fallujah, you pulled me from the rubble." Elijah softly replies, "Soldiers don't leave each other behind." And for the first time in years, Elijah smiles. A week after the ceremony, at the National Veterans Museum, a new exhibit opens. No bronze statue, no gold plaques, just one old backpack in a glass case, lit by soft yellow light. Inside, a frayed army scarf, a tarnished silver medal, a handwritten letter to Boonif. "I don't make it. Live for both of us." And a faded photograph. 6 young soldiers, smiling at the edge of a battlefield, only 3 of them still alive. Elijah once said, "I don't keep the backpack for what's in it. I keep it so I won't forget who didn't come back." A young boy presses his face to the glass and whispers to his father, "Dad, was he a real superhero?" The father doesn't reply. He just nods and places his hand over his heart. Elijah Boone didn't need applause. He didn't ask for praise. He just wanted a place to sit, a warm cup of water, and sometimes an honest look from across the table. But his story made a nation stop and reflect. How many like Elijah served, protected, and were later cast aside? For poverty, for age, for a uniform now stripped of insignia? Elijah wasn't angry, he was silent. But that silence forced the country to listen. A civilized society isn't measured by its noise, but by how it treats the forgotten. And sometimes, an apology, given at the right moment, can start to heal a wound 50 years deep. Elijah Boone was remembered for one day. But how many veterans are still forgotten? Men and women who once stood at the front lines and are now outside every frame of care. No home, no rank, not even a hello. We can't give them back the years they sacrificed, but we can do something else. Don't let silence bury gratitude. Elijah didn't need a statue. He just needed to be seen as a human being. That day, he left behind no words, just a warm cup of coffee in the hands of another old soldier, and walked away as if to say, "I've done my part. Now it's your turn." If you believe in justice for those who once fought for it, share this story. Comment YOHE to stand with justice for veterans. And remember, honor doesn't fade, it just waits to be recalled at the right time.